What would you do if a 10-year-old boy with worn-out sneakers said just 7 words, "I know how to cure your son"? The doctor laughed until the impossible began to happen. The pastel walls of Hopewell Children's Medical Center were decorated with cheerful cartoon murals, but no amount of paint could cover up the heartache that lingered within those rooms. Room 308 was no exception, except for the silence, a silence that only surrounds places where hope is hanging by a thread. Before we move on, please let us know where you're listening from. At the bedside stood Dr. Michael Carter, his shoulders heavy, eyes bloodshot behind his glasses. He was known as one of the country's leading pediatric oncologists, yet this case, his own son, had brought him to his knees. In the bed lay Eli, Michael's 8-year-old boy, pale, bald, too frail to lift his head. Diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia, Eli had already undergone chemotherapy, experimental treatments, and been the subject of whispered prayers in every language from countless people. But he was fading. Michael stared at the monitor, watching the weak rhythm, his son's paper-thin chest slowly rising and falling, and wept. A gentle knock broke the stillness at the door. Michael turned, expecting a nurse. Instead, a young black boy stood there, no more than 10, wearing jeans a bit too short and a worn shirt. His brown eyes held a depth far beyond his years. His volunteer badge read, Noah. Michael quickly wiped his tears, standing straighter. "Can I help you, kid?" Noah stepped into the room, glanced at Eli, then met the doctor's eyes. "I came to see your son," he said gently. Michael raised an eyebrow. "He's not accepting visitors. I know how to help him," Noah replied. The certainty in the boy's voice made Michael chuckle, half in disbelief. "You know how to cure cancer?" he asked, sarcasm lacing his tone. "I don't know everything," Noah said calmly, "but I know what he needs." Michael's expression hardened. "Look, I've tried everything. I've flown to Germany, consulted specialists in Japan. You think walking in here with wide eyes and hope is going to fix this?" "I'm not offering hope," Noah replied. "What I have is real." Michael turned his back. "Please leave." But Noah didn't budge. He slowly walked over to Eli's bed, as if he'd done it 100 times before. "What do you think you're doing?" Michael asked, stepping forward. "He's scared," Noah said, not looking away from Eli. "Not just of dying. He's afraid of you seeing him like this." Michael froze. Noah gently took Eli's fragile hand. "I was sick too," he whispered. "Worse than him. I didn't speak for a whole year. They thought I had brain damage, but really, I saw something I couldn't explain." Michael folded his arms. "What did you see?" Noah looked up, eyes soft, light, and something behind it. It didn't speak with words, but with feeling. It told me I had to come back, that I wasn't finished yet. That I had to help him. Michael stared, unsure whether to feel anger or awe. "You think this is a game?" he snapped. "You think this is what my son needs, some fantasy story?" Noah didn't react. He simply closed his eyes and whispered something inaudible. Eli stirred. For the first time in days, his small hand moved. "Eli?" Michael said, rushing forward. Noah whispered again and gently touched Eli's forehead. The boy's eyes fluttered open. "Daddy," Eli croaked. Michael nearly collapsed. "Eli, can you hear me?" The boy nodded faintly. Michael looked at Noah, his voice trembling. What did you do?" "I reminded him why he still matters here," Noah answered. "But it's up to him to believe it." Michael shook his head. "You're a child, a volunteer. You're not a doctor." "I'm more than that," Noah said softly. "Ask Nurse Teresa. She knows." Before Michael could respond, Noah turned and left. When Michael asked the nurses who had let the boy in, one looked puzzled. "No one," she said. "Noah hasn't volunteered here in over a year. He moved out of state, beat a rare neurological condition. They called it a miracle." Michael stood in the hallway, stunned. Back in room 308, Eli was sitting up, asking for juice. The next morning, the room was filled with quiet awe. Eli wasn't cured, not completely, but he was awake, alert, and smiling. He even laughed at a nurse's joke and asked his dad to hold his hand, just like he used to when thunderstorms scared him. Dr. Michael Carter was lost for words. He'd reviewed every chart, medication, and test from the night before. Nothing had changed, no new treatments, no last-minute miracle drug. Yet Eli had turned a corner, and Michael couldn't get that boy out of his mind. That boy, Noah, the 10-year-old who had whispered something no one else could hear, touched Eli's forehead and turned their world upside down. Michael sat down with Nurse Teresa, his voice low. "Tell me about Noah." "Why?" she asked. "Because he was in my son's room yesterday. Said he could help him. I thought it was just a kind gesture, but now..." I don't know. Teresa set her clipboard down slowly. Noah came here when he was 4, couldn't speak, couldn't walk, no diagnosis. He was in a coma for 7 months. We called him our sleeping angel. Michael leaned forward. They said it was neurological, some rare viral inflammation. But nothing helped. Then during a lightning storm one night, he just woke up. Michael blinked. He sat up and said one word, light. From that day, he got better. It was like his body remembered how to heal itself. The doctors couldn't explain it, but his mom believed something greater happened. Michael swallowed. She said when he was unconscious, she stayed with him daily, praying. Then one day she felt something in the room, warm, peaceful, like someone had stepped in from another world. The next morning, Noah woke up. Teresa paused. She said he was different after that, sensitive, aware of things others couldn't feel. He started asking to visit sick kids. He'd sit with them, hold their hands, and sometimes things happened. Michael whispered, "They got better." "Some did," she replied. "Not all. But the ones who did, they all said the same thing, that he reminded them they weren't alone." Michael leaned back, overwhelmed. "Where is he now?" "They moved," Teresa said. "Somewhere in the mountains. His mom wanted to keep it quiet." That night, Michael sat at Eli's bedside. "Do you remember the boy from yesterday?" he asked. Eli nodded. "He told me something before he left." "What was it?" he said. "Your dad's going to be okay now." Michael's breath caught. "I thought you were the one who needed healing." Eli smiled weakly. "No, Dad. It was you." Michael couldn't speak, because in that moment he realized Eli was right. It wasn't just Eli who had been sick. It was Michael, too. The weight of being a man of science who couldn't save the one he loved most had broken something inside him. Noah hadn't just reminded Eli to fight. He'd reminded Michael how to believe. 3 weeks later, Eli was discharged. The cancer was still there, but stable, a rare and fragile state. He started to draw again. He wanted to feel the breeze outside. He laughed more. And Michael, he changed too. He started spending more time with patients, less with charts. He listened. He touched shoulders, held hands, spoke softly. And eventually, he started something new. Something in Eli's honor, a foundation called the Noah Project, focused on holistic healing, emotional therapy, and presence. One summer, a letter arrived with no return address. Inside was a photo, Noah, now older, smiling on a hillside with a small lamb in his arms. On the back, a note was taped. Healing doesn't always mean curing. Sometimes it just means remembering why you're still alive. Michael framed the photo and placed it next to one of Eli holding a stethoscope. Today, Eli is in remission, and Dr. Michael Carter, the once hardened skeptic, now tells every new parent who walks into his office the same thing. Medicine may heal the body, but love, connection, and belief, they awaken the soul. Do you believe some people are sent into our lives not to cure us, but to remind us why we should keep fighting? Please let us know your honest thoughts and opinions in the comments below.